Happy New Year, guys. 23 is officially upon us, and I would like to wish each and every one of you a blessed and a prosperous year. And thank you so much for supporting the channel so far. And if you haven't already, subscribe, like, share with family and friends for more car-related insights. By subscribing, you are helping my channel grow and keeping the algorithm going by letting YouTube know that you are definitely enjoying my content, and that pushes my channel to new audience. Thank you for those who did. I appreciate you guys. And a moment of silence for the loss of one of the greatest automotive pioneers to ever do it. Ride in Paradise and Rock, gone too soon. In today's episode, we'll be looking at cars that actually share the same platform. Basically the same car underneath, sometimes with just a different badge. Welcome to yet another edition of Carville, where everything meets anything cars. I'm your presenter, Carville, and stay tuned for the 5th episode on Carville. First of all, what do we mean when we say car platform sharing? A platform is a major mechanics or underpinnings of a car. It consists of chassis, suspension, axles, drivetrain components, and steering mechanism. The body of the car and the engine are mounted onto the platform afterwards. The prices in value may differ massively based on the quality of refinement the body of the car has, i.e. interior bits, exterior components, engine size and performance, to name a few. Some companies do a joint venture to cut costs and produce the same cars with just a different badge, such as the Toyota GT86 and Subaru BRZ, and in the US rebadged as a Scion FRS. Due to the success of the cars, the same recipe was used again for the second generation, which introduced the Gazoo Racing Performance Division to the model lineup, renaming the Toyota variant to a GR86 instead of the GT it was formerly known as. As for the Subaru, the BRZ remained as is, at the same time discontinuing the Scion FRS model. Another close related example would be between the Mazda MX-5 and the Abarth 124 Spider, which are basically the same cars underneath, but with a different body and brand. Some companies re-engineered the whole design to a different look and feel, like the one mentioned before. For example, the Aston Martin Signet is just a re-engineered Toyota IQ to cut CO2 emissions across the Aston Martin range, since they were all V12s. Oh, and V8s. Can't forget that V8 Vantage. And since the company was under Ford at the time, most Ford models had that iconic Aston Martin front grille for aesthetics, just in case you didn't know. So, why do companies do this? To cut costs and make more money, of course. By making more of the same cars, branded differently, but with the same underpinnings, but sold as different cars, if that makes sense. Now, since the list of cars sharing platforms is endless, I won't go into too much detail, but I'll list a few key examples that are sold to the country instead. The first example would be the first generation Rolls-Royce Ghost. It was based on the BMW 7 Series from the same era, and the two cars share 20% of parts underneath, since BMW owns Rolls-Royce. On the flip side, BMW's all-new XM or X8 concept car to most motoring journalists, it will be based on the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Renault and Dacia are joint family auto factories that manufacture the likes of Duster and Sandero, to name a few, and they've been at it for a couple of years now. Oh, speaking of which, Toyota and Suzuki are in love, guys. Their partnership is beyond marriage, having produced multiple identical cars, namely the Toyota Starlet and the Suzuki Baleno, and they are on their second generation versions already. And not to forget their bigger siblings, the Toyota Urban Cruiser and the Suzuki Brezza. More cars that share platforms are the Kia Seltos and Hyundai Creta. Seat Mii and Skoda Citigo are the rebadged version of the Volkswagen Up, since the Volkswagen Group owns the two automobile companies. And still under the Volkswagen Group, the Audi Q8 actually shares a lot with the Lamborghini Urus, whilst the Audi Q7 is on the same platform with the Bentley Bentayga, regardless of the massive price difference between the two. Speaking of which, the Audi R8 shares the same platform including engine with the Lamborghini Gallardo, while Audi A3, Volkswagen Golf, Skoda Octavia, and a whole lot other cars share a similar platform called the MQB platform by a Volkswagen Group. Let's just say Volkswagen owns a lot of companies, and within those companies, a lot of their cars share platforms regardless. Such companies include Seat, Audi, Bentley, Lamborghini, Skoda, Bugatti, oh yeah, and Porsche. The Saab 92X Estate was a little more than a rebadged Subaru Impreza. Do you spot the resemblance yet? The Holden Monaro, or Commodore, was marketed as various brands around the globe by General Motors, which were Pontiac GTO, Vauxhall Monaro, and for the South African market, Lumina SS. Sadly, production ended in 2017, with the last SS not sold in our country. This was the closest thing we had to an American-powered muscle car before the Ford Mustang. So far, we have learned that sometimes totally different companies team up to build similar-ish cars that have common components, to cut costs and make life much easier for themselves. The usual suspect is who else but Toyota. Toyota. The new Supra is actually a BMW Z4 underneath. It looks like a Toyota, but it feels like a BMW. Now that's a recipe and a half. Since BMW is known for its great inline-six engines, and the legendary 2JZ was one of the greatest inline-sixers ever built by Toyota, so it makes a lot of sense why they would do such a thing. BMW's N54 was the closest thing to Toyota's 2JZ at some point. The new car actually uses B58. So basically, designing and building a new car costs a lot of money for manufacturers. So instead of building a new car for everything on their model lineup, why not build only 2 or maybe 3 models and adapt the other 70 onto those platforms, which will then be cost efficient and allow for a broader model lineup at a very short period of time. Makes a lot of sense, right? I hope it does, because even electric cars share platforms. Same recipe, different oven. The Audi e-tron is actually based on the Porsche Taycan, basically the same cars. So thank you for watching yet another episode on Carville, where everything meets anything cars. Stay tuned for more content like this. As always, please hit the subscribe button below, like the video if it was informative, share with family and friends, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. See you on the next one.